summer of '98, the Forest Service, the Jackson Ranger District, which manages the access points on the Snake River, was going to go to a mandatory fee system for access. And nobody was necessarily that opposed to the idea of paying a little bit for parking. But the idea of all the money that would have gone into enforcement was a lot of wasted money that could have gone into the resource. And at that time, an anonymous donor kicked in $50,000 and bought all the permits for that year. At the same time, challenged both the outfitting community on the Snake and the general river running community, and began raising money to manage the resource and to provide stewardship for the resource. The Snake River Fund, and particularly the Wild and Scenic campaign, was just an amazing collaboration of people that just love the river. It didn't matter, political party or background, etc. Fishermen, kayakers, rafters, everyone got together to say we're going to do what's right for the resource.
If we can affect federal public policy by doing something unique at the local level, that was an appeal. Because the Snake River Fund and the donations from the public in place of paying fees was unique and still is within the forest system.
It kind of was suddenly, there was an entity to get involved with. Before the Snake River Fund, there was nothing that focused on the river here, nonprofit-wise or volunteer-wise.
The Snake River Fund started in many ways to assist the Forest Service with shrinking appropriations to maintain the facilities that were there, whether they're boat ramps or the collection of trash, ultimately even the policing of noxious species.
These are all things that, if they weren't done, people on the rivers would really notice that they were lacking, and the Forest Service would frankly just have had to close a lot of these access points because they wouldn't be able to manage them. Snake River Fund really provided the means that people could donate voluntarily and have all this taken care of.
The Wild and Scenic legislation that just passed was very much a part of our focus, and I'm impressed that in this century, we're still preserving the wild rivers and whole watersheds.
Snake River watershed in Wyoming is the best of what's left in the lower 48 as far as the cleanest water, the healthiest native fish habitat, amazing whitewater resource, amazing paddling resource, 400 miles of wild and scenic river. That's more than any other county in the United States.
Obviously, the Snake River needs a holistic view from the park boundary all the way down through the whitewater. So we're trying to keep the big picture in mind when we're doing things now.
There are several very small isolated BLM parcels between the Grand Teton National Park boundary and South Park Bridge, which is approximately 20 river miles. Since the parcels are so small and isolated, the BLM decided about 10 years ago to try to figure out what was best for these parcels and best for the public resource. The Snake River Fund really stepped up and helped to facilitate this process because it is a bunch of different government organizations.
The BLM land transfer process that we're going through it right now gives Teton County a unique opportunity to manage facilities. More often than not, such facilities are typically managed by federal agencies. To have a county agency do that really brings it to ground. That's what it's all about, keeping it local.
The Snake River Fund is just a great example of private citizens and outfitters getting together to help solve problems and mainly focusing on the stewardship of the resource. One of the great things the Snake River Fund has done is helping tie all the agencies together that manage the different stretches of river. Both the Forest Service, the BLM, the Park Service, Game and Fish, all manage these stretches. It took a group like the Snake River Fund to really look at the whole and start working together with all these agencies.
The beauty of the Snake River Fund and its challenge is to inspire folks to contribute, and it's those donations that enable us to do all the work we do.